Moin Moin and welcome to Ralfs Foto-Bude. Yeah, I hope you had some nice flights with your DJI Phantom 2 Vision. If you watched my videos, you get some more information about the first flight. You get some information about Prodrenaline, a software to remove the fisheye effect. Yeah, and I hope you enjoyed your first flights. When you fly, there's a point when you want to tilt the camera. During the flight or when you take pictures, and you have recognized that it's not so easy to fly and to tilt the camera, because when you have the iPhone or a mobile phone here on the remote control at this place, I don't fly with this one, I have a special holder. When you fly with the smartphone here, it's not possible to move the sticks and to tilt the camera, because you have to remove your fingers from the stick. And another point, when you watch up to the vision and you make a maneuver and you want to tilt the camera, you have to look down to your smartphone, because there are no buttons. You have a flat screen, you have a touch screen, and it's not so easy to find the right position to tilt the camera up or down. The same when you use an iPad. When you work with an iPad, it's exactly the same. Maybe you use not the same one, but you use another holder, and it's exactly the same. The iPad here is in the holder, down there is the remote control, and you have to remove your fingers from the sticks to turn the camera, and that's not very comfortable. The point is that the Phantom 2, not the Vision, the Phantom 2 had an extra channel on the remote control, that's channel 7, to tilt the camera. On the back side of the remote control, at this place, there's a small lever, and with this lever you can move down and up the camera. But there's a solution, because some guys had a firmware update for the have written a firmware update for the Vision, and with this firmware update you are able to get the channel 7 for the tilt function. And so you have the from DJI you can buy the spare part of the lever. It's very easy, it's not expensive, it's like, I don't know, in Germany it's like $2 or $3. You have the plate which you put on the back side. There's some glue under this thing. You put it on the back side, and then you have here you have 2 screws, and you have the lever, and you have the axis for the, where's the axis? My axis is gone. Here's the axis, and you have the axis for the potentiometer down here, and so it looks like this. Here we are, and that's it. And so now you see you can tilt the camera with this lever. The lever is under the remote control, so you can hold the remote control like this, and with your ring finger or with your small finger you can turn the lever here under the remote control and move the camera down or up. The only problem is that the way here is not so long, so it's not very precise, and you can't turn it very slowly. So it would be nice to have a little bit more way. And there's a good option, and the option is to put a potentiometer in the remote control, but you have to remove the other one. So you have to do a little work on the remote control. This is a potentiometer. It's a 100 kilo ohm potentiometer, and usually most of the guys put this one here in the middle of the remote control, but in my opinion it's not the perfect place, because when you fly like this and you want to make a turn, you have to go with your finger here up, and you only can control the forward, backwards, left and right stick with the thumb only. You're not able to control it like this. So in my opinion the better solution would be to put the potentiometer here on the side of the remote control, and that's what I want to try, if there's a place or an option to put the potentiometer on the side of the remote control, and then you can fly, and with your middle finger you can turn the potentiometer, and so you can turn the camera downwards and upwards. So that's the thing I want to try first. The simple solution without, you only have to open the remote control, but that's the simple one. And then in the next step I will try to put the potentiometer in, and also I will show you how to upgrade the firmware of the Vision, so you have the channel 7 to tilt and shift the camera. Okay, so before we install the lever on the remote control, one very important advice: you do everything on your own risk. So I'm not guilty if something happens to a remote control or something breaks or stuff like this. So be patient, be careful, work slowly, especially if you do this tuning the first time and you're not an advanced do-it-yourself guy. So be very patient and do it very slowly. I'm not guilty if something happens. You do it to your own risk. Okay, so first of all we have to open the remote control, and on the back side there are 4 screws we have to open. First we remove the batteries at the battery compartment. That's the first thing you should do. And then you need a screwdriver, and you need to open the 4 screws on the back side of the remote control. If you do this the first time, the screws may be a little bit tight, so work very careful. Don't ruin your screws. Use a high quality screwdriver. That's very important, and use a screwdriver in the perfect size, so you get the screws perfect when they're a little bit tighter. That's very important. If you have opened the 4 screws, put them out. I hope they will come out. 1, 2, 2 missing. Yes, this one is missing here. Yeah, one or 2 always. Here we are, and the last one is this one here. Okay, won't come out. Okay, so one is always. Here we are. So when you remove the back side of the remote control, it's very important to hold the antenna, because the antenna is between these both covers, the front cover and the back cover, and it would be perfect if the antenna stays to the front cover, because here is the whole electronic, and so you have the connection to the electronic. There's a cable from the antenna going to the electronic, and it's much easier when the antenna stays on the front panel or the front cover. Therefore, you hold your thumb to the antenna and put it to the front cover, hold the cover with your other hand, and then move up the back cover a little bit, move it up a little bit, and then pull it out very slowly, and you will see it comes out of the antenna here. Here we are. Do it very slowly, don't be too fast. Move the back cover a little bit, shake it a little bit, pull it a little bit outward, put a little bit upwards, and then it will come out after a while. When you do it the first time, take your time and don't be too fast. When you open up, we will see the internal of the remote control. Here are the two compartment for the sticks, and this is the whole electronic, and this part is the one where we go with our lever for the tilt function. This is the stick, and this one goes here into the potentiometer, and there's a potty, and you see this fits perfect. But when you close the cover, the stick and the potentiometer should stay together in the same direction. So it's a good help to move these potentiometer in the perfect angle in this and this direction, so the cross is perfect uprights and in this direction, because when you mount the lever and use the stick, you can look that the cross on the small stick is also in the same direction, so that's much easier to put the cover back on the front cover. So, okay, first of all, we have to put this small cover, or what else? It's a holder. You have to put the holder here on the back side. So there's glue on it. Remove this one and put it here in the hole. It's very easy to mount. Put it a little bit together, and it's perfect. That's it. Next point is put the stick into the hole, and that's what I said before. Take care that the cross on the stick has the same direction as the cross on the putty, because then it's much easier to mount this together. So I turn it a little bit in the right direction. And no, it's not perfect. Take your time to do this, because if you do this very, very precise, it's much easier to put both parts together. So now we are perfect. Turn it around. Hold the finger on the stick, and then use the lever. Put the lever here, and usually the lever should fit in this direction in. Put it on the metal part. Look, move a little bit, yes, perfect. And then there are small screws, and then you use a screwdriver. You need a smaller one than before, and put the screw here in. It's a little bit tricky. Give me a second. I will put the screw first on the screwdriver. That's a little bit easier. And then again, put your finger on the back side and oops, put the screw there in. So you see, give him a check if the direction is perfect. Yes, the perfect direction. It's upright and this direction, and that's it. And now, again, put your finger here on top on the antenna and move the cover just with a little pressure inside the antenna. Here we are, that's it. Look that the cable of the battery compartment is not in the way, and then close the cover. And when you're perfect, when it fits perfect, you should close it absolutely. You see it's a little bit open and the lever here is going very easy, so you're not in the potentiometer. You have to put a little bit, and you see it moved a little bit, the lever, and now it's in the potentiometer. And now if you turn the lever, you will feel that it goes a little bit stronger, not as easy as in the first moment. And so that's the perfect sign that the lever sits on the potentiometer and you can work with the lever. That's it. Now the 4 screws just in the back side of the cover. Put them in, screw them together, and the batteries back, and that's it, you're ready. Next step is to upgrade the firmware of the DJI and you're set up. Okay, so that's it, the lever, mounting the lever on the remote control. Okay, so in the next step we have to upgrade the firmware of the vision. Therefore we have to start the vision, and one thing you should obey when you work inside, it's important to remove the propellers, because it could happen that you come to the sticks of the remote control and the DJI will start and will fly into your office, and I think that's not a real good idea. So very important, before you work on the vision, please remove the propellers. Next part is we have to put in the USB cable. Here at the front of the vision we have the USB connector, and there we put the USB cable in. Yes, other direction would be much easier. Okay, so here we are. You see the camera for the next step. Here we are. Then we start the remote control. If you want to see the live picture later on to check if everything is perfect, switch the Wi-Fi repeater on, then the power, and the last step is start the vision. Okay, so the first step is to change the mode of the vision, because there may be some problems when you work in the Phantom mode. You see here on top that you should close. There are no firmware update necessary. You see we have the Phantom 2 vision mode, and there may be problems with the update to the X1 channel. So you go there, press the OK button, and then you get a warning for the NASA M mode. There you say yes, and again yes, and again OK. So now you see we have the, if we go to the basic tools, you see here the different sticks, and you can check if you're connected, and you see yes, we are connected when you move the sticks. Okay, so close this window, close the program, and then you have the Phantom 2 tool. That's a small zip data. You should unzip on your PC or on your computer, and then start the Phantom 2 tool. Where you get the software, you will find under my video there's a hint where you can get the zip data, the zip tool for this one. Start this one, and yes, I know, it takes a second. This tool is only available for Windows PC. It's not available for Macs. The other software, the normal DJI tool, is available for Macs too, OS X, but this one is only available for Windows. So close this again, and here you have the option Vision or HD 2D. H3-2D, that's the gimbal, and you say yes, I want the H3-2D, just set the mark there, and that's it. Close the software, close the window, and now we have the stick here, the lever, and you can move the lever, and what you see is, here we are, the camera moves up and down. Next step what we have to do is to calibrate the lever, and therefore we go again in the Phantom 2 software, and when the software is open, you see here we have the X1, that's the lever to make the tilt function. Yes, no, we won't want the firmware update, and now we go to basic, and here we have the calibration, X1 calibration it says, and here we press the start button. Now we take the remote control and move the lever on the back side, this direction, and again 2 or 3 times. Hold it again a little bit for some seconds in this direction, and then you can say finish, and that's it. Make a check if everything's work, hold the remote control, and now you see I can move the lever here and the camera goes up and down, and in the software you see when I move the stick it works, and it works also in the view. You have the view here, the overview of everything, and here we have the X1, and as you can see when I move the lever it works. That's everything. Easy, no hassle, it's very easy to change this. And the last step, if you don't want to put a potentiometer inside and you want to work a little bit more with a remote control, you have to go back to the Phantom 2 mode. Just press the button here and it says, do you want to go back to the Phantom 2 mode? And you say yes and okay, and that's it. And again, you still have the X1 here, and it still works also in the Phantom 2 mode. The difference between the NASA M and the Phantom 2 mode is the NASA M is more advanced, you have more options. That's a part I will show you a little bit later on when you get a little bit more into flying of the Phantom 2. It's the advanced mode, you have to obey some more points because you have different settings of the switches here, you have different modes of the switches, and so it's a little bit more difficult and you have to obey some more parts. So if you have done this, please go back to the Phantom 2 mode. That's the safe and easy flying mode, and that's it. If you want to make a little bit more on the remote control and you want to put in the potentiometer, so you can let it still on the NASA M mode and do it later because you have to calibrate. But let's see, I think you can make the calibration also in the Phantom 2 mode. Yes, you can also make the calibration in the Phantom 2 mode, so that's absolutely okay when you're now in the Phantom 2 mode. Okay, so that's it for now. Next step is we put the potentiometer in the remote control. So this was the first part, the easy way to put the tilt lever into your remote control of the Vision 2 and to upgrade the software. Now we can make a second step, and in the second step we can put potentiometer in the remote control. The reason is it has a little bit longer way, so you can work a little bit more precise, a little bit the way is a little bit longer. And if you use a holder, sometimes when I use my holder, it's difficult to reach the lever under the remote control. With my holder, it's not possible to reach the lever without leaving the stick. So that's, for me, that works not perfect. But if you use the remote control alone, as a standalone remote control, the option with a lever may be the best for you, because if you want to go up to the next step, you need a soldering iron, you need a plier, you need a driller, you need some cable, you need the potentiometer. So you have to do a little bit work on the remote control. So it's up to you if you have the knowledge and if you want to do this. I show you step by step what you have to do. First of all, we're talking about this potentiometer here. This one is the one we are looking for. And there are two options. Option one is you can use a plier or a scissor to cut off the three legs of the potentiometer and solder the cable on it. Or the other way is you have to remove the electronic part and resolder the potentiometer so you can put in the cable. In my opinion, I would to resolder the potentiometer here, because if you want to change back, you want to sell your remote control or something like this, it's better to have the original part here so you can change it back. You can put this one back again. So I will resolder it, and therefore we have to open the 4 screws of this electronic part. 1, 2, 3, 4 screws, and then we can then we see the back side of this one and can resolder the small potentiometer. And that's what I want to do now. So the original potentiometer is resoldered. You see here, this was the position of the original potentiometer, and I moved this one out. So the next step is now to put a 3-wire cable here at this place to connect the this 3 pins with the new potentiometer, which we place in the remote control case. So that's our next step, to solder the 3-wire cable here at this place. So now the 3-wire cable is soldered in the electronic part here. You see we have this 3-wire cable here, and the middle cable is in the top position, so that's the middle position. We have 3 parts here, down 2 and on the top 1, and the middle cable is in the top position in the middle there. And now we have to cut the cable long enough. We want to put the potentiometer here at this area, so the cable has to be long enough to go to this part of the remote control, and we have to use the solder to make it fine. And the only important thing is that the middle cable, the cable here is in the top position, so also in the middle position, that this one goes also in the middle position of the new potentiometer. So this middle cable must go in this position, and the other cables in the left and right position, and it doesn't matter which one is in the left and which one is in the right, so that doesn't matter. The only important thing is that the middle cable, the one who is here in the middle position, is also in the middle position in the new potentiometer. That's it. So that's the next step I make now. So the cable is at the potentiometer. As I said, the middle one is at the middle place and the others in the left and right position. So the soldering is ready, and now we can look where we put the potentiometer in the remote control. As I said before, I like it when I work with the remote control, that I can put my finger here on the right side to turn the dial of the potentiometer to move the camera up and down. So this is a real good position, but you have to look very carefully because there's not so many space here, because you have this controller here. So I would think it's a better deal to put it in the underside of the case in this position here. You have a little bit more space to put it in. You cannot go too far down because here is the curve, so it's a little bit difficult. You have to deal with it, you have to try it before, and you have to work very careful. First of all, when you have the position, drill a small hole, 2 millimeters or something like this, and then drill the hole a little bit bigger. You need the size of this part here, because you put this potentiometer through the hole like this, and then you secure it with this one, and when you've secured it, you put the dial on it, and that's it. So these are the steps you have to do, and these are the steps I will do now. So, okay, the potentiometer is placed in the remote control. You see, I have put this one here in the curve. It fits perfect. On the other side of the remote control, we have enough place or space here to put the legs of the potentiometer in. Yeah, and so this one fits perfect. Now you have to put the dial on the axis of the potentiometer, but please don't close it, because maybe you have to adjust a little bit when you have a knob like this or stuff like this. So please don't put the cap on it before we have calibrated the potentiometer in the software. What do we have? Now we have to put the 4 screws here in. We have to put the on-off switch on the front side in. Have to close everything. Check that the cables don't be in the way here. So that's very important that you check the cable here. Put the batteries in, and then we make the check. So, okay, everything is assembled. We have the remote control ready for the check. We have the potentiometer here at the side, batteries are inside. So now let's start. Put the Wi-Fi repeater on. First check here. Yes, 1 beep, so everything seems to be okay here. And now we start the vision. Okay. So, and now comes the big moment. What happens when we turn the potentiometer here at the side? Yes, there's a reaction. The camera goes up and down. So it seems that everything works fine. Last step we have to do is the calibration, and therefore we switch the Phantom just for a second off. Put the USB cable here in. Start the Phantom again. And now we have to start the Phantom Assist software on your computer. Yes. And here we are with the X1 channel, and the X1 channel, that's the channel of the potentiometer here. You see, when I turn the dial, there happens something, and now we have to make the calibration. We have to go to the point basic, and then we have here the calibration of the X1. Go to start, and now turn the dial from the beginning to the end, backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards. Do it several times, and then when you think you're ready, just press finish, and you can go back to the view page. And when you're on the view page, you see here we are, and now when we make a minimum adjustment of the dial, you see we have a change, and the gimbal works also here on the vision. So that's the sign everything is perfect and you're fine. Okay, so everything is set, everything is ready, you can start. One thing you should do, if you have here another M mode, please go to the Phantom 2 mode, because if you have no experience in another M mode, please go to the Phantom 2 mode, because in another M you had lots more options, and of course you have the option to crash your vision, because there you have a manual mode to fly the vision manually. And that's real advanced stuff, so you can do this accidentally, and so that's a good reason to change here in the Phantom 2 mode. That's very important for you if you don't have the experience flying with the NASA M mode. And another thing I should say that's also important, when you've changed to the potentiometer mode in the firmware update there in this small program, you cannot do the tilt function with your iPad or with your smartphone. You have only the choice smartphone, that's the Phantom 2 mode, or you have the choice potentiometer, and that's the I think H32D mode or something like this, you know what I mean? So you have only the choice between potentiometer and smartphone. There's no option to have both. So when you changed to the potentiometer option, you will recognize that if you touch your iPad on the screen on the live view, you're not able to move the camera up and downwards. So that's it, very important to know, so you don't wonder why this won't work anymore. But you can change back, so you can change back to the vision mode, and then you have the control on your iPad. You don't have to have the control on the potentiometer. Okay, so that's your first work, your first tuning, your real first tuning of the Phantom 2 Vision. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope you have some nice flight experiences with the new options of the gimbal settings. If you like my video, please give me a like here, and in the info field there's a link to the software you need for the change of the different modes, and there are some infos about the parts, about the potentiometer you should buy. You have to do it by your own, because I know only shops in Germany where you can buy it, so you have to look for an electronic shop close around your home, but I give you the important facts which potentiometer you should buy. Okay, so that's for today. Have some nice flight, enjoy your flights, and till now I say, as every time, moin moin and bye bye.